Join Master of Menace Mark Maloney and the OG guy being Dude Aidan Maloney as they explore movies, music, food, and nightlife on The Mark Mo Show. With segments like You Just Made the List, Carpe DM, and The 15, each episode is loaded with shenanigans, tomfoolery, and chaos. We hope you enjoy the show.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 7 in our first season of The Mark Mo Show. I'm your host, Mark Maloney, along with co-host Aidan Maloney, also hosting his own show, aka 219. Aidan, how are you doing? You're alive. That's good.
I am alive. I've felt better. I typically don't get ill super often. It's usually just like little colds, but sometimes when the flu hits me, it hits me kind of hard. And it picked the wrong fucking weekend to do that.
Indeed it did. Indeed it did.
But
I'm very angry at that virus or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever. Bacteria, virus, could have eaten
Ebola, I don't know.
Could have accidentally eaten the other food I brought up today, but
probably.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
You'll have to hear about that.
Oh, yeah. Definitely want to. Anyway, we produce new content weekly on all podcast platforms and YouTube. We also have some one-off interviews coming your way. We had one with the YMCA. We got a few more coming up in the near future. And if you like the Mark Mo Show, check out my radio show After Hours on WVLP.org or the TuneIn app on your handheld device. 2 hours of uninterrupted Celtic punk and alt-rock every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time and Friday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. You should also check out the Guys Being Dudes AK219 podcast with Aidan Maloney and Kevin Boland. And you got some new content out there, Aidan?
Yeah, we do. We had a video kind of pop off recently. We played this game called Dream Daddy. A dad dating simulator.
Oh, okay.
So Kevin,
okay, Daddy.
Kevin's kind of the lead character. He plays our dad.
Oh.
And we, of course, go out and meet and date other dads. So that video kind of popped off in a good way. We got back to golf with your friends recently as well, which was super fun.
People seem to like that one.
Yeah, I agree. So it's been good. It's been really fun. We missed last week, which is unfortunate. But, I mean, hey, between my illness and Kevining, we do what we can with what we have. But if anyone's missing AK219 this week, and you'll always check out my channel, Aidan Spelled the Right Way. I got some fun stuff over there too, and all of it is for free.
And it's free. I mean, that's free as for me. And on AK219 or Aidan's personal page or the Mark Mo Show, like and subscribe. That'd be fantastic, and we appreciate each and every one of you listening into our content every week. And this particular show, we try to keep it light. Now, the last couple of episodes hasn't been so light at the beginning, but we at least tried to make it kind of funny.
That's true.
So I think
it's a skill.
It's a skill to be able to take some more serious content that you're amped up about, and kind of lighten that up a shade,
right?
If you can, and we've tried to do that.
It's kind of why we call it the opening dialogue, because it's kind of in line with that late night host opening monologue, always having a political tinge to it, and finding the comedy and the dog shit country we're in.
Oh man, no doubt about it. I mean, what happened? We went from the shining, with the shining city on the hill, or whatever the hell Reagan said years ago, to like, we're next to the Trailer Park Boys. I mean, right. It's not.
We are the Trailer Park.
We are the Trailer Park
amongst
boys.
Our neighbors.
Yeah, we really are. So it's a thing now. It is definitely a thing. But hey, what's the crack, Aidan? One of the biggest party weekends is here. Not quite over yet. We got another day of partying, and by the time all you wonderful, beautiful people listen to this, St. Patty's Day week or weekend will be in the books.
Or you're listening on St. Patty's Day, in which case, go ham. Tuesday's still several hours away.
That's right. It really is. And so hopefully you'll have a pint in your hand and all the finest meats and cheeses and potatoes you can eat. and just enjoy the day. That's kind of the point. And
as the good Lord Saint Padraig would have wanted.
Indeed. So hopefully everybody has the St. Paddy's Day. I, like a lot of other Irish Americans, we are incredibly inclusive. I don't care if you're Irish or not, man. Come party with us. It's just about having a good time.
It's a celebration, baby.
It's a celebration.
No one's excluded.
No, not at all. And it's Paddy. By the way, it's Paddy's Day. So it's Paddy, Paddy, and Paddy is short for Padraig, which is Gaelic for Patrick.
You may have heard that name just a moment ago.
I think you did. And was that my name on my fake ID that I may or may not have had for most of college? The answer is yes. And if you're out there, Padraig McQuillan, thank you. Thank you for many years of bar going.
Doing the Lord's work, brother.
He really was. He really, really was. Did he have brown curly hair and dark eyes and he was 5'5"? And I'm none of those? And it worked? Yes.
It's all about the attitude.
It's all about the attitude. The guy had a certain look on his face on the ID.
Yeah.
So I tried to mimic that when I got to the door. Because he just had kind of this unimpressed look on his face. And I'm like, I'll have to get that look down. So every time I went up, I was like, just had this look on my face. And just handed the ID. And it worked like a charm every time. It was unbelievable.
That's beautiful.
It was unreal. So yeah, so it's Paddy. Get it right. Patty, Patty. You put on a burger bun, or it's short for Patricia. So get it right, you fucking fex.
A fair point. A beautiful point to make.
That's all I'm saying. Every time I see an ad for Pat-T-E, I'm like, dudes.
You're either making a clever pun and selling me a burger.
True.
Or you are sorely mistaken and you got it wrong. And hey, some people need a learning experience. That's what we're here for, right?
That's right.
We are your teachers today.
Indeed. We will teach you. We will instruct you.
And if you get it wrong after this, that's when the discipline comes in.
Yes. That is when the discipline comes in. Kevin Boland is very familiar with that form of discipline.
He's got like 3 or 4 spankings at the ready.
Oh, for sure.
Already queued up,
ready to roll. But Aiden and I love the high holidays because of our Irish heritage. We have family mostly from County Cork and County Mayo. My grandfather Thomas immigrated from a tiny town called Ballyhonus. My father, when he was a young boy, he used to do the Irish jig on top of bars. So his father then could earn the money that people would throw in the hat that they were actually giving to my dad, because he was the one doing the dancing of the Irish jig to the music, but the bar would actually go to Thomas's beer tab.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
That's Ireland, baby.
It's Ireland and Chicago in a nutshell.
Perfectly
right there.
combined.
Growing up on the South Side. So when I grew up on the South Side, it was a little bit different, where heritage was still important to us, but I didn't have to shake my ass on any bar
right.
For my old man, so that was probably a good thing. But there are many Americans out there who are proud of their family and where it's from, and it reflects kind of how we live our lives and all of that. It's America is really interesting that way, obviously.
Culturally, sure.
Culturally. And it's not one of those things that, it's so divided, because there's a Puerto Rican neighborhood here and a Mexican neighborhood there and an Irish neighborhood here. I think it's great because you're saying you're American, but you're still appreciating where your family came from.
Certainly.
And adopting some of those traditions. And I think it's great because then if I go to that Puerto Rican neighborhood or I go to that Mexican neighborhood, I'm going to listen to the music and I'm going to have the food and I'm just going to soak up their culture and learn more about that.
Right.
So I think it's extraordinary.
I think so too. And I think that's kind of the original idea of the melting pot of America, how it was supposed to be the sharing and appreciation of different cultures. And it's unfortunate to see that there are different groups that may try and gatekeep or bogard certain things, but I think it's best to focus on the positives and realize that, like, hey, whether it's a cultural holiday like St. Patrick's Day or even Cinco de Mayo, which is in our near future as well, I mean, it's meant to be fun. Everyone should be sharing and sharing their culture and history and enjoying each other's company. And I think that's what's important.
It is what's important, and those are great points. And I love sharing my cultural heritage with others. I haven't been drinking today. Well, very much. So
which is a damn shame.
Which
very
is a damn
un-Irish.
shame. I know. I gotta get on it. But I was like, well. I'm doing a podcast. I should probably not
keep it for the latter segments.
We'll keep it for the latter segments because towards the end of the show we're gonna review a beer.
We've got a beer review.
We've got a beer review. So we're gonna slam that. I mean, we're gonna drink those and we'll
appreciate them.
Anyway, but yeah, we enjoy sharing our heritage and our culture with others, and we love when people do that with us. It's awesome. I love it. So, Aiden, what I kind of pointed out, like growing up, like today, I thought a lot about my mom and dad, his grandma and grandpa, and because they were so important in that upbringing in this Irish American household. And so on a day like this, they're missed because that was such a huge part of that day. The Southside Irish Parade in Chicago literally runs through our backyard.
Yeah.
And so it's so important. And not just in terms of the Irish heritage in that particular community or on the south side of Chicago, but also just our family. And it was so important because, we would all come together and we would all go to their house and hang out and have corned beef and just like do the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And it was always great.
I agree. It was the equivalent of Thanksgiving that, of course, most Americans know. It was that, but in March,
Yep, very much so.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. And so I'm curious, like, if you share with the audience here some of your impressions growing up, because it might be a little different than mine, or it'd be different than it was for your grandfather.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I can split this up into two different eras of my life, because we had the pre-drinking era and we had the post-drinking age era. So the pre-drinking age era was Blarney Bowl, going out to the south side, playing an hour or two of football before the parade starts.
Or soccer. We did soccer one year, and that was fun.
That's true. That soccer was super fun. So Blarney Bowl was always a great time. And then, going out, seeing the Southside Parade, hanging out with family, Fox's Pizza. Shout out, not sponsored, but definite shout out on that. That Fox's Pizza. Coming back home, having that mashed potatoes, that Cold Cannon, that corned beef, watching The Quiet Man. At least getting a smell of what Guinness was, what was to be in my life. And then the post-drinking age, going out to Kitty O'Shea's on the Chicago Parade, and then, of course, the Sunday Southside Parade. All the same, except now I drink Guinness at Fox's Pizza, which is a bonus.
Yes.
And it's just been wonderful, kind of how these traditions live on and even evolve in certain ways. It's just really a good time. And the point we were bringing up earlier about the whole idea of the culture and watching these, classic Irish movies, drinking these Irish beers, enjoying this traditional Irish food. I may not have known my great-grandfather or much of that extended family because I didn't exist yet, but being able to partake in enjoying that culture is really, really fun.
Yeah, it really is, and there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history there too. Not all of it's good, and that I think that goes for a lot of cultures. There's the good stuff and the bad stuff, but it's all part of the history, and you have to take that in, and we'll talk a little bit about that when I do an interesting twist on our review preview this week. Where I talk about some Irish movies, and not all of them are gonna be a glow up. They're not just gonna make you all shiny, happy people and smiling and all that sort of stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Some of it's some pretty serious stuff, and can even make you kind of angry.
Right. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But that being said, it's all part of it, and it's an important history. It's something that you should learn, and whatever culture you are, and I know we have a lot of international listeners out there, So I'm sure it maybe is a little bit different in your country, but I imagine, for example, like in Germany, there's probably maybe pockets of Irish that live in Germany or in France, something along those lines, maybe like in the Philippines.
Sure.
Hello to our fans in the Philippines. Maybe there's pockets of Americans that live there, and maybe there's this American culture that I don't often see here.
Sure.
But maybe overseas, because of people in the military or people that just work internationally or whatever the case is, maybe there's something there. Or perhaps because we're so used to this immersive international culture coming into this country, maybe when we go other places, we're like, oh, we're just going to jump right into this.
Right.
And it's not so much like, oh, I need to bring all of my America with me.
Right.
Instead, it's like, oh, I'm in the Philippines, I'm in Japan, let's see what this is all about.
Right.
And I think that's probably more the case, if I had to guess.
Sure. And I love that for, the majority of us, but I have heard there are some nightmare tourists out there who just shit on wherever they go, and don't be that person.
No, don't.
Don't be that person.
No.
If you're going somewhere, enjoy the culture, appreciate it. Don't try and bend it to your will. You're there to not assimilate, but to appreciate where you are.
Correct.
And its history and culture. So just go out there and have fun. If there's any lovely listeners out there who maybe aren't as familiar with St. Patrick's Day, but you have your own national holiday or cultural holidays you would like to share, hit us up on the socials. That would be really cool to hear.
Most definitely. We would love to hear it. And wherever you are, because I know St. Patty's Day is so unique.
Right.
Because it's like St. Patrick, and St. Patrick, he was like Italian, and then he lived in England, and it's an Irish. There's like a whole thing.
Right.
Trying to figure out who this dude was and why it's an Irish thing. And like,
but he did the thing with the snakes, huh?
But he did the thing with the snakes. He's the Pied Piper. He's out there. And here come all the snakes like, yo, hey, Leon, hey, check this guy out.
Hey, this guy's not walking here.
We need to follow this guy. I don't know why. Just follow him.
Hear him out, man.
And boom, all the snakes are gone. And one would say, wow, how many snakes does Ireland have? Well, you're welcome.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
That's why we celebrate it.
That's exactly why we celebrate it. But I love the fact it's just, even though it's this Catholic day. Because there's St. Bridget's Day and St. Anthony and all these other St. Joseph,
whoever else,
all these other saints. It's not so much about it being Catholic anymore. It's more of an Irish Heritage Day.
Sure.
And just the whole Irish lore, and the Irish have always been kind of adored and appreciated throughout the globe, because when they go places, they're just like, wow, they're so super nice. And it is. They're kind of like Canadians.
Right.
They're just nice, and they love life, and people love when they come to their country. And so I think that's largely why you can go to France, or you can go to Germany, you can go to Japan, and like there's St. Patty's Day celebrations.
Right,
and,
right.
I love that. I think it's great.
It's also a fair point why the Irish passport is so powerful.
It is.
Oh, yeah, Irish, yeah, we trust you.
Yeah, like all the passport, all the people checking the passports, and they're just like, going through, and then they get to the Irish one, they're like, oh, how are you today? Aren't you a nice Irish lad? Oh, bring it on in. Do you have any Guinness? Would you like some? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy, but I love it, and hopefully one day we'll have an Irish passport. Hopefully in the coming years, working on that.
That would be fantastic.
That's going to be a goal for sure. But at any rate, happy St. Patty's Day to each and every one of you. And we are going to take a quick break, and we return. Carpe Diem here in the Mark Mo Show. All right, we are back, everybody. This is the Mark Mo Show, and it is time for Carpe Diem. You fine, beautiful folks, send us your DMs. You can send them to our socials. The Mark Mo Show, Mark Maloney, that's my page all over socials. And it's at Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and all sorts of things. Send your DMs to us. With Aiden, you can do it to AK219. You can do it to Aiden Maloney, whatever you want to do. Send us your DMs, and we will read them on the air. And if it's a question, we'll answer it. Maybe.
Within reason.
Within reason.
We're not legally obligated to, but we'll do it for you.
We might do it, for sure. I have a few this week.
Ooh, okay.
And the first one I have is from @KissMyBlarneystone.
Beautiful name.
Oh, it's beautiful. Did I see the leader of Ireland went to visit Trump?
Oh, no.
Right, exactly. At the White House before Patty's Day, I sure hope he told him to fuck right off.
Oh, man. You and me both, brother. You and me both. I mean...
I'm not sure he did.
There's only so many choice words we have for people like that.
Right.
34 times, felons, generally
I was disappointed.
humans.
I was disappointed he went.
Right.
Like if he would have been invited, I'd have been like, well, let me check your calendar, and I would have ghosted him. I would have never got back to him, and then I would have talked to the mayor of Boston or New York or Chicago or something. Like, yeah, man, I'll come to your place.
Yeah.
And just done it that way.
Pull a Philadelphia Eagles and be like, nah.
Just like, nah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. And then Trump insulted him anyway.
Yeah.
He's like, what did you expect?
Like, no shit. Have you not seen the other interviews with this piece of human dog shit?
Right.
Like, just don't go. Just don't go.
It's like seeing traffic in the street and going, well, all right then. Maybe I'll step out there and just see if it hurts. It's so stupid.
Right.
It's so stupid. And I don't know. Hopefully the rest of the world seems to be onto this. There's about 30% Americans that aren't. And to you fine folks, I'd say you're not fine folks, and you got a problem. And you need to wake up and figure some shit out, because this dude is a piece of garbage. All right. Am I good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, my face didn't...
I am with you on all points.
My flush? Whew, feel warm. Anyway, the next one, @Shamrock and Roll. Love your show. Do you prefer Irish folk music or Irish rock music?
Oh, no. Great question. Fuck you.
Yeah, right.
How dare you pit two bad bitches against each other?
How dare you?
Shame on thee. I am a huge fan of both.
Yeah.
And I would say, I know this is a corny half answer, but I would say it depends on the mood. Because if I'm feeling hyped up and maybe slightly enraged, Irish rock music all the way. 100%. But if I'm feeling more, St. Paddy's Day without the rage, then it's got to be the folk music.
Sure.
I would lean towards Irish rock, though.
Yeah, I would agree. Because you're talking like tossers, dropkick, Murphys, flogging, mollies, all of that. And I like all of that. I play a lot of that on my radio show, After Hours, WVLP.org. Check that out.
ABC, always be plugging.
Always be plugging, all the time. So, while I love that, I do also, I grew up on the folk music.
Right. I would agree.
And that's what really hits home for me, because I can sit there and I can listen to the Dubliners, I can listen to the Chieftains, the Pogues, any of that, and just really appreciate the hell out of it, And so that, boy, what a question. That's like a tie.
Right. Yeah. Because it's like.
And I know it's the easy way out, but
yeah. I was kind of in the same boat, but it's more so like nostalgia versus mood,
Yep.
at that point. So that's a tight race, I gotta say.
For sure. I've got one from @IrishEyes324. I will give you $10,000 cash and a tiny... where's it at?
A tiny what?
A tiny what? What are you giving me? $10,000 cash and a tiny Irish cottage with lots of land in a poor rural part of Ireland, or $25,000 cash and a condo on South Beach.
Take me to Ireland. I didn't even need the extra $10K. That's just the cherry on top.
That's the
Get
cherry.
me the hell out of here.
Yeah.
I will take the $10K, move to rural Ireland every day of the week.
Okay.
Every day of the week. I'm sure I could drive a tractor trailer out in Ireland.
Oh, yeah, they drive trucks. You just got to go on the other side.
I think I'd be fine. If I can parallel park on the correct side of the road, I figure I could drive normally on the other side of the road.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
It's a fair comment. The last one I've got for you. Oh, by the way, I suppose I should give my answer.
Yeah,
I'm going to Ireland.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and I love South Beach, so that says a lot. At Stoner Stanley,
Oh, my man.
420 our guy.
Living the high holidays.
Indeed he is. Hey, Alan and Momo. Jesus, God.
God bless you, Alan.
I have a new product called Irish I Was High.
Must be that new strain
That
they're
new
talking
strain
about.
Packs a great buzz, my guys.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Then he says, Kevin, go bye-bye.
Oh, no.
He's a gimp in my basement with Marcella Wally. Bye.
Stanley, you're a very unique person to hear from every week.
I think he met Marcellus Wallace.
That's what I figured as well.
He kind of messes names a little bit.
That happens.
He's close usually.
The whole Momo thing, kind of.
Yeah.
It just happens with him. I will not partake in that brand new strain because I cannot with my current profession. But for anyone out there who does partake, I give it a shot, I guess.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know how that buzz gets on for you.
For sure, no doubt.
But yeah, kind of worried since Kev and I, of course, missed this week. Last week, rather. Kev go bye-bye maybe played a part.
Maybe.
I'm not sure how that panned out.
Not sure how that panned out with him being in a rubber suit and
right down
Stanley's
there
basement with Marcella Wally.
I almost said Martellus Bennett.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, man.
Now we're going to get DMs from like, man, what are you talking about? I'm not down there. Oh, jeez. Well, yeah, those are my DMs for the week.
Alrighty. I got some DMs myself here. We got one here from our boy Gumbo Gregory.
Gumbo.
They ask 5 items only. What's your last meal?
5 items only. What's my last meal?
Items only.
Okay.
It's a tough question. You got to limit it, right?
Yep. I'm going to say Rico Bene's breaded steak sandwich.
Good choice.
A Chicago-style thin-crust tavern-style pizza, preferably Fox's, but most tavern-style pizzas will do.
Good point.
Al's Italian beef. That gets me to 3. I would say fried chicken, although I'm not sure where I would get it from. Maybe White Fence Farm, which is a place in the Chicago area. They have really good chicken. But just a good fried chicken will be on there. That leaves me with 1. There's a lot out there.
It's a lot out there.
Then I know I missed some of it. So, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, that's a challenging one.
Right.
For the last part, I'm going to go dessert. And I'm going to say a key lime pie from Key West, Florida.
Oh, now that's the idea right there. I like that.
So there you go.
That's solid. Mm-hmm. That's real solid.
And yours, sir?
I think I would start off with a country fried steak.
That's good.
With that white pepper gravy on top.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think biscuits and gravy with that same aforementioned white pepper gravy because I love breakfast. So those 2 for sure. Bona beef, that cheddar cheesy beef.
It's good.
It's good stuff. I would say I also want a Chicago tavern style pizza, like a large pepperoni sausage.
There you go.
And I'm gonna go and throw in a handle of Irish gunpowder gin. That's good stuff.
Yeah, isn't there I'm trying to think of the product. Isn't there like a gunpowder gin? Like, isn't that like a brand or something?
I think you got that for me a couple birthdays or Christmases ago.
Certain I did.
It's that Irish gunpowder gin, yeah.
Yep, I'm sure I did. I'm sure I got that from Ken and Liquor, not sponsored. Yeah,
Yeah, that was great stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's my 5 right there. We've got the official Gordon Ramsay checking in.
Oh.
Asking, what are your favorite creative insults? Or, sorry, what are your favorite creative insults?
Creative insults. I don't know if I've used any.
I love Idiot Sandwich. And I love the fact he actually brought out 2 pieces of bread when he did that bit. Smushed him around the face, said, you are an idiot sandwich. I love that bit. Oh, yeah, he did that.
Oh,
and then
my.
There was one, too, where someone said, like, oh, yeah, I'd microwave a salad or something like that. And he looked at him, he's like, you fucking darn it, you don't microwave a salad.
Oh, no.
So calling someone a donut is kind of a fun one.
That is fun.
I love food-related insults, like calling someone a soggy loaf, because it makes them then think what that means, and it throws them off their game. They can't immediately respond because they're stuck thinking, holy shit, what is a soggy loaf? What does that mean about me?
Right, exactly. You have to start looking in the mirror and thinking about life.
Right.
Somebody's referring to you as a soggy loaf. Jesus.
So yeah, food-related insults, I think, are the most creative ones that I really enjoy.
Yep, that's great.
Final question I received comes from our boy Crippy Grew.
Crip.
What is the importance of networking, and how does it play into podcasting?
Oh, that's really interesting.
It's a good question, and I'm not much of a networker. I just kind of fly by the seat and just figure out what works. I don't have much of a social media presence, which it's my fault, but I also don't spend a lot of time on social media. I don't enjoy it. I think I used to be in some serious habits of doom scrolling and just never being off my phone, which thank God I stopped. But yeah, that's kind of my downfall, is I just don't use social media or use it to promote things that well. So I think you would have a much better the side of the story when it comes to networking and promotion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've done it in a corporate sense for a long time, but in this world of this multimedia world, whether it's radio, my writing, or whether it's now podcasting, it's a little bit different. There's a lot of ways you can generate likes and follows and network in a sense where it's not outright like, oh, let's collab, because you just don't say that off jump. You have to start liking their stuff. You have to start paying attention. If you think that there is someone on YouTube or a podcast or whatever the case is, and you find their stuff interesting, then it's not just like likes, it's engagement. So you have to get on there and not just like something, but just say, oh, that was awesome, blah, blah, and then just kind of maybe how that directly relates to you and get them to eventually engage with you. And it's just not going to happen off the top of your head. With some, it will happen, but it takes a little bit of work. It takes a little bit of work to do that. And it's completely different than local. I get marketing, I guess. I was kind of searching for the word. Or networking. So, like when you're doing something more local, it's more face to face. You're going to events, you're going to different things, you're out at a bar, you're out at a restaurant, and you're seeing different and important people, and you take the time to strike up that conversation and say, hey, I find your product really interesting. I find your service really interesting. Oh man, that event you have coming up, let's talk about it. And then develop that relationship where you can then say, hey, I'm doing interviews with my podcasting. You want to, come to the studio and let's get in there and do something. So, local stuff versus social media, it's a little bit different. But on the social media side of things, it takes time. It takes likes. It takes engagement. It's not overnight. There are a lot of cheap ways you can go about getting likes and follows and all of that. I don't like marketing that way because I think it's cheap. There's like people that like create pages and sub-pages and pages and pages, and then they like, and it's very incestuous on how that whole network of pages works. And I don't like that. I find that much of a bother.
Sure.
To be completely honest, I would just rather have my page. If I think that we do something meaningful together, or maybe I have just an awesome interview queued up, or whatever the case might be, I'll pay the extra bucks to get Instagram or Facebook maybe push that out a little bit. Otherwise, I'm going for viral. I'm just, it's going to be natural, and it's going to be kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to do it that way. And maybe that's not the right way, but I think it is from the standpoint that the numbers I'm looking at, all the various stats that come from doing the podcasting and YouTube and other stuff, it's all genuine. Like, we didn't do anything in terms of financial investment to pull those people into my page. They stumbled across our podcast and went, that's cool.
Right, yeah.
So I would rather have it that way.
I completely agree. Yeah, that's really good.
So is that it for you?
Final question.
That was your final one. All right. Well, that was a good one. That was definitely a good one to end. And before we go to our next break, we have a little other foods queued up with Aiden. Now, for all of you folks that other foods, what's that? Well, it's food.
Yep. At the very minimum, it's food.
It's food, but it's other food. It's not burger. It's not hot dog. It's not pasta. Your typical stuff. Aiden finds things that would make a billy goat puke.
Sure, yeah.
And he does a lot of research. And a lot of puking.
Just for fun at that point.
Just for fun at that point. So it's like, oh, look at my finger. Oh, you're going there. Anyway, what do you have for us, Aiden?
Today I found this interesting little tidbit called toriyashi. Or torisashi.
Torisashi.
Yes.
Okay.
A Japanese dish of thinly sliced raw chicken. The chicken may be lightly seared, though originally it's referred to as torisashi eaten with wasabi, so they go by different names. Could be quickly dipped in boiling water, which of course does nothing to the inside pathogens.
No.
But it's commonly eaten with soy sauce and wasabi, just like other sashimi dishes, which usually sashimi is made with like raw fish incorporated with sushi, that whole sushi realm.
Yeah.
Which is less dangerous than eating something like raw chicken.
Yuck.
Because raw chicken contains things like salmonella, could contain E. coli, several other different pathogens and bacteria, which can cause this little thing called food poisoning.
And I've had it.
Yeah.
From undercooked chicken at a barbecue one time. I was sick for a week.
Yeah.
Like, could not get out of the bathroom for several days. It was crazy.
Yeah. The common symptoms of food poisoning.
Here we go.
Diarrhea, potentially bloody, vomiting, stomach cramps, fever, headache, tiredness.
All of that.
Yeah. So, I don't know how much you really like thinly sliced raw chicken, but sometimes you have to ask yourself, is this worth it?
Correct.
Is this food dish and its potential, even though I might disagree, its potential to taste good, is it worth it?
Yeah, and I think no.
I think it's a no from me.
It's a no for me. There's no like.
What's the draw?
There's no draw, right?
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. There's no draw to try that. It's just kind of like somebody being like, "Oh, hey, so want to eat this pufferfish?"
No, thank you.
No, that's the thing that like there's like a dozen chefs in the world that are qualified to cut up a pufferfish.
It's so toxic
for consumption because if they fuck it up,
people will die.
People die.
Yeah.
So let's not do that.
Right.
And let's not eat the raw chicken.
Let's not eat raw chicken. I've had cooked chicken, and it has tasted phenomenal. Why would I stray from that whilst risking food poisoning?
Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah. Cooked chicken's great. I'll stick with it, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone out there that's tried raw chicken, let us know. Are we missing out? Because I am going to make the choice to continue missing out, but I'd love to know.
Yes, we would all love to know.
We're all curious.
Indeed, if you have eaten the raw chicken and you are alive to tell the tale.
How'd you do it?
How'd you do it? Tell the tale. Please tell the tale.
Speak your truth.
Speak your truth. All right, we're going to take a quick break here, and then we're on to our feature segment. You just made the list here on the Mark Mo Show. All right, everybody, we are back here on the Mark Mo Show with our feature segment. You just made the list. And we did. We made a list. You're welcome.
See you next week.
Bye. Nah. We playing. It's all good.
We're just joshing you.
Ha ha. How funny.
Tee-hee-hee.
Anyway, now, see, all right, you're catching us a little bit midway through the shenanigans and tomfoolery of a St. Patty's weekend in Chicago.
The romping and raving.
The goofing
and gaffing.
Mass consumption of various liquids.
Certainly.
And so you're catching us in that moment.
Sir, yeah, for sure.
So we're trying. We're trying.
For you, lovely listeners.
I've pulled 4 3 a.m. days in a row. That catches up.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like, oh, there's other events. So you got to be up and out by 10 a.m. It's like, but wait,
right. I
got home at 3.
That sleep debtor comes knocking at your door.
Eventually, it really does. Like, you do it a couple of days, you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. And then, like, 3rd, 4th day, it's like,
ruh-roh.
Wow, why do I feel like I need help walking?
Yeah.
It's because my body's like, no mas. No mas. It is time to sleep. But we're not sleeping. We're here with you. And we're here to talk about our list. And this list, top 10 Irish Americans. Now, if that's not a broad enough term for you, I don't know what is.
It's a pretty broad term.
It's a pretty broad term. It could have been a top 100 list. But it's only 10, and we have to follow the rules. Oh, wait, what? Oh.
Rules? Did I hear that word, rules?
There's a judge.
What's the rules?
There's one rule. There's one rule technically.
Okay.
And that is that there are no rules.
Oh, I like that rule.
Yeah, so.
Paradoxical doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because paradoxical where we're from is not a rule.
It's not a rule. I watch Doctor Who. I know how that works.
That's true.
I am an expert by now.
And there's no rules.
That much we
Which
know.
Which is the overarching term.
That is the overarching term. Oh, help us. Now
one's for you, Philippines.
This is absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. All right, so top 10 Irish. Here we go. I have 10. I stuck to 10.
I stuck to 10 too.
Which was hard.
Yes.
Number 10, Kurt Cobain.
Very good.
Lead singer of Nirvana. Number 9, Louis Sullivan. He was an architect. A lot of designs. He did a lot of things with Frank Lloyd Wright in the Chicago area. So he was a G.
It's a classic right there.
No doubt. Number 8, Jim Morrison. Lead singer of The Doors.
Oh, nice pick.
Was brilliant.
It's a good pick.
Life cut short. Can't imagine all that stuff left on the table, but
right.
He was amazing. This one Aiden might not like, but you can't deny the achievements. I have to go with Tom Brady at number 7.
Man.
I know. You got to do it, though.
Tom Brady's deflated balls on this list.
Deflated balls. So they are an awesome set of deflated balls.
From what I hear.
I don't know by experience, but there's this guy one. Anyway, number 6. This is kind of a surprise because the name isn't necessarily Irishy, but his Irishness must come from his mother's side. Quentin Tarantino.
He almost
is Irish.
He almost made my list. I was thinking about Quentin.
Yeah, he directs so many movies that are in my top 100.
Yeah.
And he's just great.
Yeah, one of the great directors of the last several decades.
Number 5, great writer, and a lot of his books have become movies, Tom Clancy.
Oh, my man.
A lot of the Jack Ryan stuff,
yeah.
Patriot Games and all that, like that's all him.
And games, movies and games.
Yes.
Yeah.
And games, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of that one game, something 6.
Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
I
hear great things.
Yes, very popular.
Want to then, number 4, Robert Kennedy. Nope, I'm not.
Not talking about the fucking...
Not talking about the guy that sounds like rar, rar, rar. I've been smoking 8 packs of cigarettes a day, rar. And I'm not talking about that guy.
The bringer of measles.
The bringer
Jr.
of measles. Hey, maybe we should use some facts. Rar, no, don't do that. Just drink buttermilk. I mean, whatever, dude. I'm like
raw buttermilk.
Raw buttermilk.
Let your children die from measles and raw milk.
And raw milk. Thank you. So not that guy, but his dad was a G.
Senior
was a G. And so Robert Kennedy, number 4. George Carlin.
Oh, my man.
Not just a brilliant comedian, but a voice of a generation. Carlin was the best. Oh, by the way, we do 10 through 2 and then our big number 1 review.
Right.
Didn't say that at the beginning. So this is my number 2, Barack Obama.
Now, let me be clear.
I may be a bit Irish on my mother's side.
Never told Michelle and the kids, but I got that Guinness in me today.
I love it. So that's my number 2.
Beautiful. Wonderful list. Couple on there I wish I had. I should have put George Carlin. I was thinking about Tarantino, but I went a slightly different route on some of them. Number 10 on my list is comedian Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Funny guy. Always breaks. It's like the one thing people know about Jimmy Fallon. He can't keep a goddamn bit because he always breaks. But he's
always
funny,
does.
you know?
I mean, really, SNL should have never said, okay, we've got this idea for a skit. We're going to put Farrell with Fallon. Why would you do that? Because he's doomed.
He's gonna die.
He's doomed. He's going to die.
Number 9, wonderful painter George O'Keeffe.
Oh, that's excellent.
Phenomenally talented. Number 8, this is a pair. Twins, Scott and Mark Kelly, astronauts, commanders, big into that NASA culture. I believe the first twins to go into space together.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7 on my list, Maureen O'Hara, actor.
I have
a
regrets. I have regrets.
Someone said Rutrow.
Oh, no.
That's number 7. Number 6, Kurt Cobain, singer.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderfully talented guy. Number 5, the old Prez, Barack Obama.
Michelle, I made 2 lists, Michelle. Did you see that?
I made both of them. It was in the top 5 even. Wanted a Reuben, got that roast beef. Michelle looked at me funny. I said, why? Not the only roast beef I'm eating today. Number 4. I'm so sorry. Number 4, Eileen Collins, astronaut commander, wildly brilliant NASA engineer.
It's amazing how many Irish Americans are involved in the space program.
Right.
Whether they're astronauts or whether they're scientists or whatever the case might be. And like Ireland is sitting over there like, hey, we're not going to space anytime soon. I don't know. What the hell are they doing over there in America? I don't know. Let's sit back and drink some Guinness, I guess.
Right. Honestly, can't blame them.
No. They have no desire.
Right. Number 3 on my list, comedian, best talk show host of all time, Conan O'Brien.
Oh, F my life, yes.
Someone forgot Conan O'Brien.
I love Conan O'Brien.
Conan O'Brien is the best in the business.
Best talk show host, period, end of effing sentence. And not just that, but he produces a lot of online content now, which is hilarious.
His podcasts are fantastic.
They're great.
Yeah.
And the stuff that he did with Kevin Hart and Ice Cube, the first time I watched it, I literally cried laughing. Oh, yeah. It was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Yes,
well done.
For sure. Number 2 on my list, Mary Jones, labor activist in the 18 and 1900s, securing contracts for coal miners, being right in the middle of that period of American history when the government was killing protesters.
Yeah.
And labor activists. So it's a dangerous place to be.
It is, indeed.
And, I always support labor movements, and her being at the front of them was pretty fantastic.
No doubt. That was excellent. That's a good one. My number 1, and seeing as I haven't heard you say his name,
I have a strange feeling.
I'm going to assume that he's probably yours too.
Right.
My number one is President John F. Kennedy.
Good old J. Fitzgerald Kennedy.
He, there's so many homes on the south side of Chicago, especially Irish Catholic homes. You always had two things hanging in your wall. Somewhere in your home, there was a hanging of Jesus, right?
Yep.
Jesus Christos. He's up there somewhere in your home. We had a portrait of him in my mother's sewing room. And then, of course, there was a crucifix in some other room.
Yeah.
Not because my dad played with dark magic. That's a different story altogether. She was kind of doubling down, like, all right, if he's playing with that, I better, lean into Jesus a little bit.
Triple this crucifix.
To balance it out.
Right.
Life's about balance. But there was always that hanging on the wall. And then, of course, JFK was always hanging somewhere. Right. So many South Side households. But I imagine in Massachusetts and New York and other places, it was probably the same thing.
Right.
Let's be honest. I mean, you can sit there and think Lee Harvey Oswald killed him. It's probably the same people that vote for Trump. But, I mean, I'm just saying,
right.
You can believe that if you want. I think he was killed because he was trying to make change for the better. No different than Martin Luther King and others that were trying to implement change at a time when change was needed.
Right.
And, he was a great man. Now, was he a perfect man? No. We know about all of his various affairs and
extracurricular activities.
Yes, thank you. So he was not perfect by any stretch. I'm guessing most presidents kind of had those setups or arrangements. Not that it makes it right. It's just
couldn't be me, Michelle.
Couldn't be me.
Couldn't be me.
I'm a good man. I'm from Chicago. Good stock.
Too busy with this Monte Cristo in front of me.
That's right. And did I mention top 5 on both lists? Michelle, pay attention.
Just open up this can of Smith Wicks in front of me. Heard people tell me that's not how you say that, Barack. I say, I was the president. Fuck you.
I know what I'm talking about. So, so John F. Kennedy, for me, it's easy. I got him hanging up on my walls for sure. And he tried to make a lot of change. He was able to do some. And LBJ was able to continue a couple of his programs, which was good. But one thing he was trying to do was keep us out of Vietnam, and that didn't happen, as we know.
The old 3-letter American agencies didn't like that too much.
No, they did not.
Yeah.
They did not.
Curious how that works. My number one was your number one.
Good old JFK.
Good old John Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
It's a good list.
It is a good list, and I'm sure there's some we missed. And if you people are like, hey, idiots, you missed blah, 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 let us know.
Very true.
Shout at us. Let us know.
If I don't make your top 5,
there's a problem.
I have to send the Secret Service to your house.
Or perhaps you go, whoa, where did this IRS audit come from? Be smart about it. Be smart about it, people. They know how to get you. They know how to get you for sure.
My man
Barry. That's our top 10 list. We hope you enjoyed it. And we kind of slide right about now into review preview. I review a movie, preview a movie. Here's the thing. I don't often see a movie. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll do a couple in a week. But if nothing is tickling my fancy, so to speak, I'm not going. I'm not going to pick some piece of garbage.
Right. Yeah.
Waste my time and money on that. So when that happens, I try to get creative with the segment. So based on just kind of the overall arc of this show and topic, very topical, as it were, it's my Irish movie edition. And these are 5 Irish movies that I like, that I try to watch every year around the holiday. The first one I'm going to mention is The Quiet Man, directed by John Ford. He could have been on the list.
Sure.
Directed this romantic comedy drama featuring Wynton Hawke's stunning images of the Irish countryside. Both men won Oscars for their work, which stars John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara as a lass who falls in love with the Irish-American boxer that moved back to Ireland. And those two, the director Ford and Wayne, they were known for their work on Westerns together. So doing this kind of made a lot of sense for them to come together and do that. And the story's good. It's funny. It's lighthearted. more than anything, it is a love letter to Ireland.
Right.
Without a doubt. And just...
Innisfree.
Innisfree.
Bar towel.
and who almost gets into a fight at the train station? Mr. Maloney, of course.
Of course.
Go figure. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, Maloney's getting a fight at the train station. That kind of checks out. Yeah. Great movie, though. Bloody Sunday. I watched this yesterday after Quiet Man. Probably should have done it the other way around.
Oh, sure.
But Paul Greengrass wrote and directed this historical drama based on the 1972 Bloody Sunday massacre in Derry, Northern Ireland. That was subject of U2's early classic Sunday, Bloody Sunday. Starring James Nesbitt and Tim Pigott-Smith. The film won several honors, including the Audience Award at Sundance and Golden Bear at the Berlin International Film Festival. There's a lot I could say about this movie. Can I do it and not get angry? No.
Right.
I cannot.
Or so to speak, get your Irish up.
Oh, it'll definitely get your Irish up.
Yeah.
But the fact that it was so premeditated on the side of the British.
Those cunts.
And literally, like, young girls would be on the ground and the soldiers just walk up and shoot them in the back.
Right.
Like, that... like, when I see all of those Irishmen running around and they're so angry and they're throwing rocks and stones and whatever, I would definitely be one of them.
Oh, yeah.
100% would be one of them and would try to hit any of those Brits in the temple with a stone if I can.
Maybe multiple times.
That, like, what happened was just despicable. And here's the thing, it's like, am I anti-Brit for the sake of being anti-Brit? No, I'm not. I love Doctor Who. I love parts of their culture, Led Zeppelin, The Who, Iron Maiden. I love all of that. So it's more, I suppose, the crown and the government.
Sure.
The military, all of that.
The same way you can appreciate American pop culture while also understanding
that American politics fuck a lot of people in this world. And we know that.
Yeah.
And world out there, trust me when I say there are a lot of us here in the country that know that we've shat on you a time or two in the past. So we are fully understanding of that.
Right.
And that's kind of my take on that, is that I understand it's politics, it's religion.
Right.
And it's a great movie, but it will make you angry.
Yeah,
for
sure.
It will really make you angry. In the Name of the Father, very similar kind of deal. Daniel Day-Lewis, who's amazing, who is of Irish descent on his father's side, played by Gerard Patrick Jerry Conlon, a man mistaken for an IRA sniper in the biological crime drama based on a story of the Guildford Four people wrongly accused of a pub bombing that killed a civilian and 4 off-duty British soldiers. The film was nominated for 7 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Actor for Daniel Day-Lewis. Really great movie. But once again, makes you mad.
Right.
Makes you mad. This one, definitely more of the lighthearted nature. It's called Brooklyn. So, American-born Irish actress Saoirse Ronan, love her.
She's great.
She's amazing. Plays a young woman who immigrates from Ireland to Brooklyn in the 1950s to seek better employment. The romantic drama, directed by John Crowley and based on the 2009 novel of the same name by Colm Tobin, was nominated for Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Actress for Ronan at the 2016 Academy Awards. It's a rare immigrant story with a female lead and one of the better films about the immigrant experience.
Right.
100% agree. I think this is kind of one of those under-the-radar type movies. And it was so great. Like, the first time I saw this, I'm like, why haven't more people seen this?
Right, yeah.
Because this is such a good movie. You know, and she meets an Italian guy, and that is so genuinely American, because, like, there are a lot of truly Irish families in the United States, but we happen to be Irish-German. And I know Irish-Italian families, and I know families that are Irish and Spanish or Irish and Mexican and so many other things. And that is so genuinely American.
Right.
Once again, cultures coming together.
The melting pot we've been talking about.
And that's like, like I said, America's got a lot of problems, a lot of things we've done wrong, but I think one of those things that is right about it is that ability to take the rest of the world, bring it in here. It's like, all right, we're going to do kind of our own take on this and immerse ourselves into all these other cultures. And,
right.
And I think it's pretty cool when that happens. The last one that I put on here, Michael Collins. He was an Irish revolutionary and politician, at the forefront of Ireland's struggle for independence from Britain in the early 20th century. Director Neil Jordan. Liam Neeson plays the freedom fighter along co-stars Aidan Quinn, Stephen Ray, Alan Rickman.
What a G. Rest in peace.
And Julia Roberts. She was a weird addition, but whatever. Although generally praised and nominated for 2 Academy Awards, the movie was criticized for some historical inaccuracies.
It happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's Hollywood takes their. That is why the name of the award given out is adapted screenplay.
Right.
You are taking adapted.
Yeah, you're taking your creative liberties and you're turning it into a story you want to see on the big screen. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be one for one.
Right. Exactly.
Necessarily.
Yeah, and so that wouldn't be the first movie with history that kind of plays with it a little bit.
Sure.
But the overall way that this movie worked out, I thought was very good, and Liam Neeson spectacular anyway.
Yeah,
so.
That's very true.
We are almost ready for our next break, but there's a segment that Aiden does while you were sleeping. So it's more of a multimedia type segment where Aiden will explore gaming and TVs and YouTubers and other things and say, hey, guys, I think you might have missed this one. Check it out. So Aiden takes these deep dives and finds some really cool stuff. What do you got this week?
This week, I wish I had gone in theme and gone with something Irish for the holiday, but unfortunately I did not. There's this game called Cuphead. And this game was pretty big in the late 2010s. So you might be thinking, well, how does that fit into while you're sleeping? And I would tell you to shut up because it's my segment, you chode.
Damn.
I would say...
He's sick, I'm tired, just deal with it, folks.
I would say it slept on in its... not only its replayability, which is important for games because, you put the money in, you want to get the entertainment out, but they had a DLC in the last couple of years, which is essentially an entirely new game built into the game. And it's phenomenal. It is one of the tougher games I recently started playing for the first time. It is a remarkably difficult game, but Cuphead, a 2017 run-and-gun platformer shooter style game, developed and published by Canadians, good on you, Canada, by Studio MDHR. The game follows, quote, the game follows its titular teacup-headed character and his brother Mugman as they make a deal with the devil to pay casino losses by repossessing the souls of runaway debtors. So these two jovial, lost little cups have to go on this devil's quest to collect the soul contract of the devil's runaway debtors because they themselves got themselves into that situation, and instead of taking the L, they decided to cut a deal. And that's kind of the plot of the game. You're going through this treacherous mini-boss hell, bullet hell style levels as a little cup with magical abilities.
Oh no.
It is, and it's in the style of like the early 1900s Disney or Warner Bros. Animation. Every frame was drawn by hand.
No way. Oh,
Every
wow.
frame was drawn by hand. One of the only games I've ever heard of that does that, especially in recent years. Hand-drawn animations, just clean gameplay. I would say it's unfair in its difficulty, but that's only because I'm not good at it. That's just a skill issue. It is very well tuned, and the music, all original music, jazz soundtracks, 1930s, 40s-esque jazz, phenomenal soundtrack and gameplay. And I don't believe the DLC is that expensive. The game itself isn't that expensive either. It's not like a AAA game you're paying $70 or $80 for. It is really, really fun. And you could easily dump several dozens of hours into it, and with the DLC, a couple dozen more. So highly, highly recommend. And you can play that on PC, Switch, PS5, PS4, 360, One, Series S. It's kind of everywhere. But yeah, highly recommend. Not sponsored, but highly recommend. It has been slept on recently because it came out just shy of a decade ago. But yeah, its original game is worth replaying if you've already played it, and its DLC is definitely worth the price.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
It's so stylish. It's so 1930s, 40s with the music and the animations. There was so much heart poured into it, and with how much AI slop dog shit and half-baked AAA game studios, it's just a gem, Yeah. It's just a gem, and I recommend it.
Well, I appreciate that, and that is definitely something you should all check out, for sure. And like I always say, reach out to us, YouTube, any DMs, any way you want to do it. Reach out to us, and especially if you play it and you like it, let us know. That'd be really cool to find other people to play that.
Very true.
But at any rate, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to drink for you.
You've earned it.
You've earned it. We love you. We're going to drink for you. We got a beer of the week, and then we are going to finish up with some tier listing here on the Mark Mo Show. All right, we are in the home stretch here, ladies and gentlemen. The Mark Mo Show. I'm Mark Maloney, your host, along with co-host Aiden Maloney. And we are now on to the beer of the week.
The official beer review.
And I'm excited. I'm excited by this.
I, too, am excited by this.
I've seen this in liquor stores for a while now, and I haven't had the opportunity.
It's been a while.
Been a while. Since I've had Founders all day IPA. Yeah, it didn't work. Anyway.
It just doesn't fit the scheme.
It
doesn't fit the beats.
It really didn't. You start the song, and the lyrics sometimes don't fit. It's just the way it works. But today we have Founders All Day IPA. Flavorful and easy drinking.
That's what they claim.
4.7% ABV.
It is a session IPA. Supposedly citrus, crisp, and refreshing. Now, session IPAs, from what I've heard, are IPAs with the specific ABV below 5. I believe the history of session IPAs is people made them to bring to work with them back in the day when you had a beer at work, because they are below 5%, and they would not disrupt your productivity as much. I believe is the history of session IPA, so it is a low ABV, but it's meant to be citrusy and lovely, 42 IBUs, so there could be a little hop going on, if you know what I mean.
A little bit. I find it interesting. Brewed and packaged, Founders Brewing Company, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then it says Puerto Rico.
Oh.
So...
Right.
Grand Rapids, Michigan is not in Puerto Rico.
That is a good point.
They do want to protect the environment and says don't litter. I do respect that.
It's a fair point. It's a good point to make.
But Michigan is not close to Puerto Rico.
No. But if you are a Puerto Rican in Michigan, hit us up.
Hit us up.
Let us know.
By all means. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. My guess is they were making this beer, and they were sampling, and then they were doing more sampling, and they were doing more sampling.
A little too much sampling.
And then they started ordering some empanadas, which are fantastic.
Oh, beautiful.
And now all of a sudden, Michigan is in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing happened.
And I can't blame you.
I can't
blame you.
Hey, this beer, I swear, saying a good beer was this beer? empanadas would be really fucking good. with YJMTL. So I want to do it. And that's how I think Puerto Rico got on the can.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what happened.
I was talking to Michelle, thinking about making Puerto Rico a part of Michigan.
I think that's an important thing to do. Because when you have all day IPA, you want an empanada.
Let me tell you.
Is what I hear.
American people.
American people.
So, crack one open at home. We're not sponsored by this brand, but we are sampling it for you.
Indeed, here we go.
Slancha. Oh, yeah.
Hoppy,
piney. Bit of pine in there.
A little bit. Trying to get the citrus. I didn't get that too much on that first sip.
I think because pine and lime are so similar on the palate, I can understand the idea of citrus, but it is more pine than it is lime or lime juice.
Sure.
So, yeah, I would contest that point, but it is refreshing. I'll give them refreshing. Quite light. You know, it doesn't...
And it does not have... See, here's the thing. I'm getting the citrusy notes now.
Sure.
That it sat in my palate for a hot second. And I think that helps with... Sometimes if you have an IPA, it'll leave a little bit on your palate, a little bit of an aftertaste.
Sure.
I think that citrus helps out with that.
Yeah, because
I didn't really get that with this.
Instead of a bitter, hoppy aftertaste, you're left with this lemon-lime mixture that just kind of sits on your tongue, and it's very pleasant. I would completely agree with that. I'll give this 3.75 out of 5. Which
Absolutely.
Usually session IPAs are not my favorite, as I like them more hazy, imperial type. But this is very enjoyable. I enjoy it.
That's fantastic. And Founders All Day IPA was fantastic.
Not sponsored, but I do give it praise.
I do give it praise. I too, because we use the app where we grade these drinks when we do them.
Untapped.
And I think I would give it a solid 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big IPA guy, but I think this is very enjoyable.
I completely agree. That is high props coming from a non-IPA fellow.
No doubt. So, okay. We are now on to the final segment. We swap things in and out a little bit on the back end of our show. Keep things lively, keep things a little different. Sometimes we do the World of Weird News. And sometimes we do the 15.
The old 15.
Sometimes we'll do a rapid fire.
Yeah.
We haven't done that in a hot minute. And tier listing, which is actually from Aiden's show.
An AK219 classic.
Indeed. So we did a part 1 of a tier list, and I thought, well, heck, we might as well strike while the iron is hot and do the second part.
Absolutely. And it is a good tier list. We're tier listing fast food and pizzerias. And in alphabetical order, these are, I don't want to say they're regional, but they are kind of specific to the United States. So if there's fast food or pizzerias where you are, you're not in the U.S., you may not hear too many familiar names, and for that I apologize, but this is just what we know, and it's what we're able to tier list accurately. So, alphabetically, we started with Arby's last week, went down the list, we finished with Five Guys.
We did.
So, we went from A through F. We are starting with K in this part of the tier list.
Okay.
Tier listing. KFC. Kentucky Fried Chicken is first up, tier listed for this week.
I will say that most of the ones in Northwest Indiana are
closed.
no longer open.
Yeah, they killed them.
That is telling. I mean, it's poor business practice, period, but
Sure.
still kind of telling.
And it's part of that Yum Brands umbrella, because a lot of the Pizza Huts nearby closed as well. So
Yeah.
it's part of that same umbrella. So was it a matter of time thing, or maybe they were killed off by other chicken joints? Who's to say?
What I do know is that it's not my first go-to for chicken.
Sure.
I do like the bowls that they have. I think those are really good. So that's where they take the chicken and vegetables and potatoes and gravy, and you put it all together and a little cheese, and it's really good. I do like that. They also came out with some new fries that were actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
So they have some good things, but the chicken itself is like just okay.
It's okay. I would agree.
It's just okay.
Yeah.
Based on that, I'd probably just have to give it a solid C.
I'm kind of in the same boat, and one thing that always pissed me off is like a family-sized bucket with a couple sides is like $37.
It's stupid. It's stupid
That's
expensive.
fucking absurd in my eyes. As far as fast food goes, you could go to a sit-down restaurant, spend $9 a head and come out with a better outcome than that. So in that aspect, I don't like it. But like you were saying, the bowls are great. I enjoy the wraps. They came out with the new fries, which I never got to try, but I heard great things.
Yep.
I'd have given it a C+.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Compromise on that C+.
I think we can. I can deal with a C+.
C+ brings us to one of the more controversial ones in as far as food taste goes. It's not really a controversial company as far as I know. Little Caesars Pizza.
Ooh.
Now, when I was a wee lad, up until the age of about 20, I was not a huge Little Caesars guy. I didn't really like the sauce that much. I thought the topping to cheese to crust ratio was not good. And yet, in the last couple years of my life, I have come full circle.
Okay.
I think their Detroit-style pizza, which is kind of a rip on Jets, to be completely honest,
Sure. Oh, yeah.
is really good. And, like, you could spend $6, get a Detroit-style pizza and a drink. That's not a bad price for lunch. And even though they no longer do the $5 hot and readies, their cheap pizzas are still $7, which as far as the crazy price increases we've seen recently is not that bad. I kind of like Little Caesars. I honestly would give them a B+, maybe A- territory.
The guy that owns Little Caesars also owns the Tigers. So when me and my friend Steve went to check out a Tigers game, they had a package that we got. So we got our ticket, and we got a slice of pizza and a pop. It was like $20.
Now that's a steal.
So that was pretty good.
That's like White Sox level cheap.
It really is, for a team that isn't ass.
Right.
So, I really enjoyed that. The pizza itself, and what I try to do in my head on these things, is where do I put it in relation to like restaurants?
Sure, you wouldn't compare it to a Giordano's or a Fox's.
No, because that's not fair.
Or Home Run Inn. It's not fair.
No. So I look at it in terms of Domino's or, well, we used to have Papa Murphy's. We don't anymore.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. Papa Murphy's. I'd have to put it once again at a solid C.
Okay.
Because when you're talking about affordability, and it's the end of a pay period, you're waiting for your next check.
Right.
You got $10 in your wallet.
Hey,
that pizza can feed me and my significant other, or me and a couple of my kids, or whatever the case is. That is appealing.
Sure.
The fact that the quality is very mid. Some of the sauces are kind of good, and it says a lot about a pizza company when they're trying to sell you sauces to go with their pizza, because they know their pizza itself doesn't have much flavor.
That's an interesting point to make. I can get behind that.
So I consider it just like, I'd consider it C. It's kind of that perfect pizza for a school outing, like a work thing, because you can walk in there with $20 or $30, come out with a bunch of pizzas for whatever. Yeah. So like that, it's good, but I don't know. Taste wise, it's just kind of meh.
Middle of the road.
Yep.
Sure. I can get behind that. So would you comp it like a B- maybe?
I
Maybe
think
a C+?
I think it has to be in the C's.
Okay.
I think I would do C+.
C+. I can get behind that. I like I said, I do appreciate their prices, and I think what brought me around to almost recommending an A- was that Detroit-style pizza.
Right.
Because it is, I don't want to say it's as good as Jets, but it's pretty dang close.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of swayed me. But C+ I can get behind for Little Caesars. Next one up is another one that's kind of dying in our local area, Long John Silver's.
Yeah.
Fish and chicken and hush puppies and all of them, in my opinion, lack flavor. The fish fillets without tartar sauce are nothing. The chicken just tastes like the oil it was fried in. And
Which usually tastes like fish.
Which usually tastes like fish. And the hush puppies themselves have no flavor. And granted, we have been pampered. There's a local joint around here,
Louis,
called Louis Wings and Catfish. And they, in my opinion, have some of the best chicken, hush puppies, po' boys I have had the pleasure of tasting. And they didn't make the list because they're not a fast food joint. They're a local joint. Long John Silver's, in my opinion, they get a D. I mean, straight down the middle, they get a D because it's not horrible, but I never ever choose to go there. So that's a D, purely and simply.
I always found it amazing that at Long John Silver's there was never a car in there ever.
Never a car in the lot, never a car in the drive-through.
No cars. I always found that really amazing, and the fact that it was year after year after year, I'm like, oh, it's got to be a drug front.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, this is a front for like mafia shit.
I don't understand how this business is even open, because here's the thing: like, I went in and someone had recommended. They're like, oh my god, I know not a fish guy, but their chicken is really good. Now, what I got from it, like the breading on it, yes,
it's almost akin to beer batter.
Right, exactly. And so I was really excited, and the consistency of the chicken, and it was really good.
Sure.
The fries, a little bit better than mid plus. Maybe.
Yeah, right. C+.
C+. But like, I was really excited about that, and I loved it until like you bit into it and you took a couple bites and you got a fishy taste.
Right.
I was like, God damn it.
You couldn't separate the fryers?
You couldn't just have one for the chicken.
Everything in your restaurant is fried. You don't have enough fryers to maybe separate them?
You should. Definitely should.
Yeah.
I concur. I will be kind and give it a D.
Right. D right down the middle. Makes sense why they're closing.
Yeah.
Next one up, the magnate. The multinational McDonald's.
Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. In terms of Aiden and myself, and how we have this disdain for big corporate America and things like that.
Right.
I do have a
little soft spot
in my heart for one McDonald's. And I think it's, number one, I think it starts at breakfast. I think they have the best fast food breakfast, bar none. The bagels are good. When they cook them, like when they put them in the toaster and they're crispy,
yes,
they're great.
I can get behind that.
A lot of times you get it and it's like, did they just pull this out of the bag?
I think sometimes they do.
I think sometimes they do. When they get busy, they don't even do it. They just pull it out of the bag.
Yeah.
And I should be better about being a consumer, and when that happens, to stop and go back in and be like, hi, you just pulled this bagel out of a bag. You want to toast it for me?
Right.
But that being said, 9 times out of 10, that bagel's fine. I enjoy the egg and bacon biscuit thing like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's really good. The breakfast is good.
Even the McGriddles are fire, too.
Yes.
They're just pricey. The McGriddles are pricey.
They are pricey for what you get. But I think their breakfast is really good. In terms of the other stuff, the menu has not changed a whole heck of a lot.
Does it need to?
But it doesn't need to.
Yeah.
It's like if people want the 2 cheeseburger meal, they're going to get the 2 cheeseburger meal because they've had it for the last 25 years.
Maybe that Royale with cheese.
The Royale with cheese, they're going to go ahead and go with that, or you go at your McNuggies and you're going to get those.
And the fries, are some of the most tried and true in the fast food world.
Oh, yeah.
Wendy's has changed them 10 times over the last 5 years.
Yes.
I mean, Chick-fil-A changed them for the worse recently. Buffalo Wild Wings actually changed them for the better recently. But McDonald's is always tried and true with the fries.
Tried and true. They why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
And they have, when those things are hot and you open your bag and you notice how hot those fries are, it's like, oh, I'm just gonna pound these now. Because hot McDonald's fries are the best.
Salted
perfectly every time.
You don't need to add anything.
Nope. There's a lot of places where you get it and you'll just be like, oh man, and then you forgot you didn't ask for salt.
Right. Just
tastes
tastes like potato.
Down, right.
Yeah.
Now you got to choke down this flavorless potato. But yeah, they do a great job. I don't know if I could put them in superior, although it's pretty damn close.
I would agree.
I think I got to go A+.
I was thinking A. I was thinking A as well. I think we can throw McDonald's in the A+ territory.
Solid, yeah.
Solid, absolutely. I have nothing besides them underpaying their staff, which almost every fast food joint does. The food itself is just, you can't.
And the Diet Coke.
They do it different.
I don't know what crack they put in the Diet Coke, but it's so good. I heard
their contract with Coca. I'm not sure if this is true. You are hearing this from a third party, hearing it from a second party. Take this with a grain of salt, but I heard that their syrup that they get from Coca-Cola, their Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero syrup, comes in refrigerated metal containers.
Oh.
Whereas every other syrup, comes in that,
the bag or whatever.
The box with the bag inside. They get it refrigerated in, like, metal containers.
That's really interesting.
And then, of course, they have that wider straw, which science says gives you more flavor and less bubbles. So I hear you there. I'm just not a big soda guy, but I do hear you there. Next on the list, Papa John's. Now, I got something to say about Papa John's.
What up, A? You got something to say?
I got something to say.
Back.
That's a callback. That shit sucks. Papa John's is the fucking ashtray of pizza. I mean, that shit makes Little Caesars look like Geno's. That shit makes Domino's mid-ass pizza look like Giordano's. Papa John's is so ass, they literally put garlic butter in the box because they know you hate the fucking pizza and you just want the garlic butter.
You just want to douse it.
Papa John's... And on top of that, they have the fucking gall to charge you $17 for a pizza.
True.
Papa John's, D-.
That's fair.
That's just
besides
my take.
The fact,
it's just my take.
Besides the fact the owner's ass.
And he's a cunt too, yeah.
And was he go and he kills rhinos or some shit, whatever he does. Like, he's just not a good dude. And yeah, the pizza's not good. I think I've had it once ever. And that was enough.
Yeah. It's enough to know that it's not good.
I'm like, that was wildly substandard.
Right.
Just not good. So, I would think F.
You're thinking F? I'll go F with you. Because my D- was kind of a compromise in itself.
Nah, we're flagging them.
Yeah. Papa John's F. Next up, Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut's an interesting beast because half the time you get the Pizza Hut with the Wingstop included.
Yes.
And Wingstop, I believe, does wings cheaper than Pizza Hut does themselves, and they do it better somehow too. But Pizza Hut is, like, it's fine. In my opinion, Pizza Hut is better in flavor than Little Caesars, but you're also paying a lot more. So there's a compromise to make there. But Pizza Hut is never as good as a local chain is. So that's where I'm kind of torn. I want to place them higher than the C+ we gave Little Caesars. But being in that Yum Brands umbrella, they've closed a lot of the local joints around here, like we were mentioning earlier.
Yeah.
So what do I do besides say C+ again,
Right, and the actual pizza's pretty good. When I was young, Pizza Hut had a buffet.
Yes. Oh, I remember that.
They had a buffet. And you were young when they got rid of it.
Yeah, into my youth, they had it a little bit.
And you could get slices of pizza, you could get pasta salad, you could get regular salad, you could get soup. They had all sorts of shit, and you paid one price.
Right.
And you got the goofy little red plastic cup for your beverages or whatever. It was great.
Yeah.
It was so good.
It was a steal.
And, I appreciated that. And I think back in the day, because they had that, their restaurant was always full of people, especially at dinner time. And it was kind of a fun place to be at. But then they got rid of it, and anytime you actually physically walk into a Pizza Hut, there are no people inside.
No. Right.
Because they're like, well, why do we want to be here? I'll go eat the pizza at home. because there's no reason to be there. But if it's a buffet, yeah, I'll show up.
Right. There's no atmosphere like there is for a Chicago pizzeria.
Correct. Yeah, there's none. So, I C.
Yeah.
I go C.
I could go C as well. So we'll go C for Pizza Hut. Next up, Popeyes. Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen. More like Louisiana Chicken, let's be honest. In my personal opinion, they won the chicken sandwich war all those years ago.
100%.
I completely believe that and stand by it. I would say the fact that their Cajun fries are bomb.
Very good.
Good biscuits. I mean, the mashed potatoes are good too. The mac and cheese could use a little work, I'll be real. But as far as chickerias go,
Sure.
I mean, I'm willing to give Popeyes an A,
Okay.
to be honest.
Okay.
I could even go higher than that.
Okay. So we just had Mardi Gras not too long ago.
All right.
And I went to this place called Franklin House, the local place here in Valparaiso, Indiana. And it's like the perfect vibe, right? It's not too bougie of a place, and it's not a complete ass dump.
Sure, yeah.
It's just that kind of perfect local place where all like real people go.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. So I go in there. It's probably my regular spot now. And I go in there during Mardi Gras. I had my beads on, showed my boobs, whatever. So
As the Lord intended.
As the Lord intended. He gave me boobs. I'm going to show them, whatever. So I acquired my beads. And they had some specific menu items. One of them was red beans and rice.
Oh, that's an idea.
And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to try that. Blew my balls off. I was like, oh my God, why have I not done this more often? Kind of like that whole Thanksgiving argument we have. You have Thanksgiving, you love the turkey, and you love the stuffing and the mashed potato, and you have it one time a year.
Once a year, right.
You have it once a year, even though you love it. And it's kind of the same thing with the red beans and rice. I'm like, God damn, why don't I? So fast forward to a couple weeks later, and I forgot lunch, and I'm like, ah, damn it. So not far from my work is a Popeye, so I run into the Popeyes, and I was like, I'll just have like a cup of the mac and cheese, I'll have a cup of the red beans and rice and something to drink. Okay. So I grab those things, I get out of there. I go back to work, and I mix up the red beans and rice. I'm like, oh my God.
Baller.
So good.
Oh, yeah.
It had just the perfect amount of kick to it, too. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Huge Popeyes fan. Huge fan of their chicken. They cook it right. It's always juicy. The crust is delicious. You can get it with the spicy if you like the spicy. And the spicy is warm. It's you'll feel it in your head.
In a wonderful way.
In a wonderful way.
I
it's
enjoy
not too
their
spicy, but
chicken.
it's spicy.
Yeah.
Everything there's great. I really have no complaints. I would probably have to go B+ on the Popeyes.
B+?
B+.
Would you comp me at an A- maybe?
I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there because I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Meet you there at an A-. Next up, the final 5 of tier listing for this week. Starting off with Raising Cane's, another chicken joint. One that we kind of only have one nearby, and even that's a 20 or 30 minute drive. Kind of tough to get around here, but I will say it's good. But the couple times I've had it, I don't know if I'd put it higher than Popeyes.
Right. That's the tricky part. Because the chicken's good in terms of the crust, in terms of like it being juicy. Like I think it's really good.
Right.
I don't think the proportions are large. I agree. I think they're very average sized, but you're not paying for the chicken. You're paying for that frickin' sauce because I don't know what the hell it is. Cane sauce, man, that is so frickin' good, and I love it. And they give you the big piece of Texas toast with it too.
Yeah, right.
And so, like, it's a thing, and I really do like it. As a matter of fact, I went up there and got some last week. I have a friend named Taylor, and she's a bartender up at Knuckleheads in this town that has the Canes.
Right.
And it was after the pub crawl I went on in Crown Point, Indiana, which was great. Good job, Crown Point. Every town seems to have an Irish celebration except Valpo. Anyway.
Yeah, right.
So, I'm heading back, and I'm, like, not ready to shut down for the night. Like, I'm just not there. So I went to a local bar, just had, like, a beer, and I'm kind of just sitting there, and I'm like, nope, the night's going to continue. What am I going to do? I want chicken. I
Yup.
want chicken. Am I going to
Yup.
Popeyes? No, I'm not. I'm going to Cane's. So I went up to Cane's. And, of course, while I was up there, I was like, oh, I'm going to see if Taylor's working. She was, so that was awesome. I got to hang out with her for a while. But I went up to Cane's, and it was everything I remembered it was. Because the only time we ever used to get it was when we would travel down south. Now, where do we grade it? That's the question.
That is the question. Because I was thinking, I'm like, Popeye's an A-.
I'd have to go B then.
I feel comfortable B+, yeah.
Yeah, I think a solid B.
A solid B down the middle.
It needs to live, yeah.
Yes. It gets that good rating from the old Mark Mo show. Next up, Subway. Subway, I have very, very mixed feelings about.
Agreed.
Because I get it so rarely, and every time I get it, I'm like, oh, shit. I think I like Subway a lot. And then I don't eat it for a while because my brain tells me I don't like Subway. And there's a reason for that. Because for the following 40 hours after you eat Subway, every burp tastes like Subway.
Yes.
And it gets progressively worse.
It's true.
And it's expensive. There's no $5 footlong. You walk in there, $14 for a footlong.
For a footlong.
Then you get a drink, you're talking $18.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then you get a bag of chips, you're talking 20 bones for lunch.
It's a freaking sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
It's a sandwich.
It's a sandwich. Stay in your lane. Bring back the $5 footlong. Fuck you. Subway, C. Maybe C-.
Yeah, that's the thing for me is that when I get a sandwich, look, the roast beef, the cheese, the vegetables, whatever you're putting on there, it's fine. The bread can make the sandwich or could destroy the sandwich.
Sure.
Their bread is wildly mid.
Yes, I agree.
I just don't think there's anything spectacular about the bread. As a matter of fact, Ireland has classified their bread as not bread.
It's a pastry because of the sugar content in the bread. They need to put sugar in the bread to make it palatable because it's so fucking cheap.
Correct. That is correct. So I'm not a huge fan of that. They do make some... If you can find the Subways that do the breakfast, because not all of them do it.
Right.
You can find the ones that do breakfast, and they got the egg and the bacon, and you put some green peppers on there, do some other...
There you go.
And it's good. I do like that. So just like you, it's there's nothing spectacular about it, but it's not ass either. I'm thinking just C, right down the middle.
I could go C down the middle as well. We've got, and I'll let you start because I've got feelings about this place. Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. I frequent Taco Bell often because I'm usually up at 2 or 2:30 in the morning.
Sure.
You know, doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, of course. As any brother in Christ would.
Yes, we do doing the Lord's work on that. So I go very late at night to the Taco Bell. There are certain places that are open late so that when you are out and you're having drinks, you get the food. Taco Bell happens to be one of those places. In addition to White Castles, but ours isn't open late.
That's true.
Jerks. So, Taco Bell has a pretty inexpensive, cheap menu for late night. The little cheese roll-ups or the potato tacos or things like that. So I can sit there and get like 4 or 5 or 6 things and spend $10.
Right.
And so that I like a lot. Do I think any of the food is like spectacular? I do not. There are some items that I would consider low-grade dog food.
That's fair to say.
But it's hit or miss depending on what part of the menu you're at.
It's also depending on which Taco Bell you go to.
Yes.
'Cause I feel like they vary in quality and taste.
Some are good, some are not. And for the most part, it's fine. And interesting, my friend Anna, when she stays over, and we've been out drinking or whatever, she tells me, hey, you got to order through the app. So she'll order through the app, and she'll, like, I get a crunch wrap and a burrito and nachos and a taco. And she gets the same thing. And she spends like $12
on the whole thing.
On the whole thing. I'm like, I need to get the app.
Right.
I'm like, what am I doing? I'm doing something wrong. So once again, it's affordability, it's quality.
Most of the time, convenience.
Most of the time, convenience. So I would probably have to go B overall.
That's fair. A year ago, I would have said S. I would have said S+.
Sure.
And these days, I still think they're an A plus. I really, really like Taco Bell.
Yep.
As far as food quality and its content, it ranks near the top. And believe it or not, Taco Bell and White Castle rank near the top as far as fast foods go.
Sure.
As far as the quality and purity of their food. No additives or limited additives.
That's true.
So I like that point, and I try to be food conscious, but, maybe once a week I'll go out and I'll get fast food just because I want to or I'm feeling lazy. But that aside, I really like Taco Bell.
Yeah.
I love Mexican food. This isn't really Mexican food. It's definitely Mexican-American food. But there's just something about it I really like. But recently they changed, in my opinion, I don't know if it was announced or not, they changed something about the nacho fries. And the nacho fries are already up in contention because they're here one day and then they're gone for 4 months. Yeah. Right. But I would still give them like an A+. So that means we're going to have to find a compromise between B and A+. We could go B-, or we could go B+ or A-.
I'm good with B+.
We'll go B+ for Taco Bell.
If you're good with that.
I can live with that for sure. The last two we have today, Wendy's.
Boy, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one. I don't like Wendy's prices. I think they're ridiculously high. They're almost in line with Five Guys prices, and they have no right to be up there.
No.
But I think the food is good. That's where I'm torn. It's because they charge a shit ton, but the food is good. But your fast food, you shouldn't charge that much.
You shouldn't charge that much.
And also your fries are fucking crazy, changing all the time, and somehow they're always mid.
Right. God, I don't even know how long ago this is. It's when their fry container used to be yellow, and you said the Wendy's thing, and the fries were different. The fries were good then, and I liked the fries.
They almost emulated McDonald's-esque.
It was like a McDonald's fry, but a little bit thicker.
Yeah.
And I really liked that, and I love those fries. And then they changed them and did these things with the potato skins on them. And then they did another version of that, and then another version of that. And every time they did another version, it was like, okay, you just went from an okay fry to an okay fry.
Right.
Like, if I'm going to change something, especially when you're changing across such a large corporation, like, it's got to blow my nuts off, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to, like, eat that fry and be like, that is so much better than that fry. That is what we're going with.
Right.
None of those have been that much better than the other one.
I agree.
Except the original fry, which I always thought was really good. So that was kind of a weird adjustment that they made. Aside from that, I think the chicken sandwich is excellent. As a matter of fact, I probably would have put it second to Popeyes.
I can agree with that, yeah.
It's a good chicken sandwich. The burgers are good. Like, their regular burgers or whatever, I always thought were just okay. But, like, the Baconator, I think is...
It's great.
Top tier. It's a
great.
top tier burger.
Anytime I get Wendy's, I always get the Dave's Triple.
Ooh.
And that is a really tall, very caloric, high-protein burger. And I've never not finished a Dave's Triple in my life. Anytime I order a Dave's Triple, I finish the Dave's Triple.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And it's a great burger. It's just pricey.
Yep.
That's in my eyes, besides the fries, that's the downside to Wendy's is the price.
That's it. And when you eat the Dave's Triple, you have to do one thing. You have to beat your brain.
Right.
So before your brain says, dude, you're full,
right.
eat that sandwich, and then be like, ha, I win.
Gotta eat.
So, yeah, that is good, too. Boy, oh boy, that's a good question. And I think as a company or a corporation, too, they're a little bit better than most, from my understanding. So take all that into consideration, I support.
Yeah.
Just fix your fries. If you fixed your fries, you'd probably be really close to an S. I'm not even going to joke about that.
Oh, I could agree. I was thinking A. As it stands today, I'm thinking A-.
A-, I can live with that.
For sure. That's very good. The final one we have today, the king of all kings, the White Castle.
Welcome to the Castle of White. I love it. I love it. Boy, oh boy. White Castle, what a treat.
Off jump.
Yes.
I want to give them an S. Here's the thing. Your mac and cheese nibblers, the mac and cheese bites, they come and go just like nacho fries. Fuck you for that, first of all.
Yes,
Secondly, every time they come back, they're a little bit different. I don't like that. I just want them to be the good ones they were. Fuck you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Thirdly, there is no thirdly. I'm willing to go A, maybe A+.
Okay.
But you got to figure out that mac and cheese bite situation.
Oh, my God, yes.
It should be a menu item just like the fries.
Why not have it all the time?
Is it that tough as a corporation to get mac and cheese into a bread?
Should not be.
Should not be.
Once again, another good late night spot. I like it for, like, when we get together and watch a big game or something. It's always, you just get a Crave case, which is a case of the burgers.
Right. 30 burgers and what, it costs 26 bones?
Something like that.
Yeah.
You know, and you're gonna feed all the friends. So
yeah.
it's good. I am a huge fan of most of their items. I don't think there's anything on there I dislike.
Right.
I'm not a fish guy, so I'm not going to judge the fish just because I don't like fish in general.
Their breakfast is pretty good, too.
The breakfast is good.
Yeah.
I do like their breakfast is good from the standpoint, like, I can get 2 breakfast sliders, and it satisfies me and I'm not full.
Yes.
It's so,
like, overfull, yeah.
I'm not overfull, and I've spent like $5.
Yeah.
So I am a huge fan of all of that.
I feel like the only thing I really knock them for, besides the, mac and cheese bite debacle, is their soft drinks and their sides cost a lot. Like a large soft drink costs you $3.10.
Uh-huh.
That's a little high. And
Sure.
like a large fry costs you $4. That's a little high.
Sure. So
that's one of my gripes besides the mac and cheese bite issue. But I'm still in A territory.
Yeah, I'm looking. I think A+.
I'm thinking A+ too.
That's
really close.
And they're not far away from being in the superior level.
Oh, I agree.
If they were open late around me, I probably would put them in there. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, right.
Stay open when I'm done consuming alcoholic beverages at 2 or 3 in the morning. I want a couple of White Castles.
Right. Then we'll talk.
Then I'll bump you up. Not that this is a pay-to-play, but I'm just saying.
Or if you want to sponsor us.
Then
we'll talk. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
That concludes tier listing, fast food pizzeria edition. To run you back.
Run it back.
The full list. We gave Arby's a C. Burger King an F+, which I think is too high.
Yeah.
Carl's Jr. Hardee's a B. Chick-fil-A C+. Chipotle C-. Dairy Queen B+. Domino's B. Dunkin' C-. Five Guys A. Mm-hmm. KFC C+. Little Caesars C+. Long John Silver's D. McDonald's A+. Papa John's F. Pizza Hut C. Popeyes A-. Raising Cane's B. Subway C. Taco Bell B+. Wendy's A-. And White Castle A+.
I love it.
No S on the list. And only 1 F. No, 2 Fs.
2 Fs.
Sorry about that. 2 Fs. So...
Man, and White Castle's was close.
White Castle's was damn close. McDonald's was too, to be fair.
Yep. Oh, yeah, for sure.
But that's a great list. Tier listing is a wonderful time.
It is a wonderful time. I'm glad we were able to kind of go through that, and that was. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We have a lot of fun doing those on our side, and that pretty much concludes this edition of the Mark Mo Show. Please give us a like and subscribe. That would be great. Thank you so much for listening in. Aiden, we want to direct him to some of your good work.
Definitely. AK219 is the show I do with Kevin Boland. We've got podcasts every Friday, give or take. We've got YouTube content as well. And then my show, Aiden Spelled the Right Way, on YouTube. I do a bunch of gaming content, and it's kind of fun. So I hope you guys enjoy that.
Excellent. Well, I do enjoy it, and I hopefully they will as well. And, once again... continue listening to the Mark Mo Show. I hope you guys are really enjoying it. And the After Hours, which is my radio show, check that out, WVLP.org. That's where the stream's at, or the TuneIn app. You can find it there as well. So thanks again for listening in, and we'll see you again next week, everybody.